Hello and welcome to everyone listening or watching to us today. We are recording this episode from the podcast room in the Sharjah Entrepreneurship Festival. And if you've never been to SEF before, so SEF is it's the celebration of the entrepreneurship spirit, where for 2 days, top world leaders and entrepreneurs come together to inspire and educate thousands and millions of people. So if you've never been to SEF, we would like to see you next year. And here I have my guest for today, who is a great executive leader, Mansi. Welcome to Sharjah and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sarah, for the invitation. I'm enjoying it here in my first appearance in Sharjah Entrepreneurship Festival.
I would like to start because you are one of the very famous executive leaders who are deeply admired across multiple industries. So entrepreneurship, not just in, typically we'll find especially people are specialized in, let's say, tech or film industry, but you managed to be running multiple industries. However, if you actually go, I think, a couple of decades back, I think you had a completely different plan for yourself. Yeah. So I would like to start from there, because so many people would only see where people are, but they don't know how the journey started, and I would like to start from there.
I agree with you that this was an inspiration for me to to found the Egypt Entrepreneur Awards for the same reason, because I find so many successful entrepreneurs that people see them only not with the fame, but when they are already recognized.
The success,
yes,
yeah.
And they never know how they started. So I used to play squash myself as a professional. I reached the top 50 in the world, and this was my life. I graduated from the university, and then because I started playing squash back when I was 10 years old, and then I decided to take it as a like a proper job and play on the professional league. During that time, all I know in life was squash. All my life was only waking up at 6 a.m., do my fitness training for 2 hours, and then play my exercise squash for another 2 hours, go home, rest and sleep, and 3 more hours in the evening, and then planning tournaments and leagues nothing but squash in my head.
You expected you will just grow in this.
Nothing. And I had even no plans because when you play, it's not easy at all to decide that I will quit.
Yeah.
So by the time, because I used to live in Alexandria, that was a challenge by itself, because there was no players to compete. I was the first to start the professional career in Alexandria. So all the top players like Ahmed Barada, Shabana, they used to live in Cairo. So it was not easy, and by the time for me to leave my family and go live in Cairo was not easy. So I was only every 3-4 weeks I go 2-3 days, stay in a hotel and play and train with them.
It's very interesting to listen to this now, and you feel how much you were playing it safe compared to how you ventured out in life.
Exactly. And I've been advised by everybody, don't stay in Alexandria, go to Cairo, and I was like, no way, and I love my city. And Alexandria by my time was amazing, beautiful, and we were very like a small community, and I have my friends, and I didn't want to step out of my comfort zone at all. I can train for 10 hours, but not leave my family, not leave my house. And then, I was slowly getting better, because like making money in squash, you need to be top 20, top 10 in the world to make good money. But I was top 50, so I was making okay money to make me live a stable life, but not any extra. Yes, not that comfortable, but okay. And then it was all by coincidence when I went to Kونه for a New Year's vacation, and I fell in love with the place.
Wow.
And I visualized a glass court in front of the marina. because I'm telling you, all my mind is only squash.
Yeah.
Yani there is nothing else.
Nothing else.
That
Yeah.
can
How I
be,
can take squash. I love the place. Okay. How can I fit squash in?
Yes, exactly. I was talking to my friend when I went back. So I was telling him I was in Guna. Oh my God, look at this place. It's amazing. It's very clean. It's like a good image for our country. And I got this idea that I want to do an international squash tournament in El Guna. He said, okay, Mansi, go talk to them. Yani, why not? This can be a Roland Garros one day. And by the time my experience in life was really zero. And in business, yani, nothing. And I stayed 2 more years, by the way, in the university because I used to go to a lot of tournaments and يعني they were very flexible with me. I was not that A star. بس then.
But it's also interesting. I see you have passion for places. Yeah, you loved Alex and you were like, I'm not going out of Alex. You loved Dilguna and was like, okay, how can I fit what I know into this? Grounding to the cities
to the roots.
And the roots.
لا بس and then I went to I asked بقى يعني I asked my way around and I found that Guna is owned by Orascom Development. And I took a meeting with the MD by the time because he used to come to Gezira Club when I used to go to Cairo to train. So I met him there and I told him I have an idea. Can I come and present it? He said, okay, come to the office.
That was the first time ever you think of anything entrepreneurship.
Yes.
With such a big thing, it's not a similar, like, because I think at the time even people don't know Gona.
I will tell you. I went to this meeting and I told him I have this idea and I said okay. I told him about it and he got me he introduced the marketing director by the time, who we became very good friends now. But I'll tell you how he got to meet. He reacted at the time. So he said, this guy, his name is Mansi, he's coming from Alexandria, he's a squash player, and he wants to do an international squash tournament in Guna. And he was like, okay. He was very snobbish. No, I don't want to, because if he's hearing, not snobbish, but I put myself in his shoes.
Squash, by the way, although Egypt
no,
is
I mean, who am I as like the Orascom? If they're dealing with anybody, they need to trust who. Yes, I didn't have any credibility, and he was like, he told me, okay, you're a squash player, but yani, what's your expertise in business? Have you done this before? If Orascom is going to do such a thing, we need to make sure. And it took me 6-7 months going back to preparing presentations to convince them. And after 6-7 months, my mind by the time, because I had no experience, that if they approved the idea, they will give me all the money.
Oh yeah, okay.
After
they are approving you, go figure it out.
بالظبط كده. Exactly. After 6-7 months, they said, okay, the cost is, let's say, £10. We'll give you £1 to start. I said, okay, what about the rest? They said, you approached us, we don't,
go figure it out.
You go figure it out. So I went back to my friends in Alexandria and I said, my Orascom approved the idea, but they were going to give me only 10% from the cost. So everybody's like, no way, don't do it. How are you going to even to promote it? Squash, as you were just mentioning, is not big by the time. Guna even.
Guna is not even big at the time.
Yani not the destination that everybody's targeting.
Yeah.
And then for me, it was just like approval for the concept, and that for Orascom to say okay for my idea, it was a big deal. So I said okay, I will do it. I will go ahead. And then I started talking to the Professional Squash Association, telling them that I want to organize an international tournament in El Guna. They were like, okay, you're Mansi, top 50. Who are you in the business? We need a letter of warranty with $1 million. I remember the email.
Oh my God.
Yes. I started using all my connections. I talked to Amr Shabana by the time. He was the president of the professional players inside the Professional Squash Association. I talked to Amir Waghi, he was the national team coach. Yani I tried to use my connections to try to
which
take...
is a resource. In any business, the connections
exactly.
are a resource that...
So they gave me like, okay, pay 20% from the cost as an insurance. يعني it took me another 6-7 months to convince them, but at the end they approved to put the tournament in the calendar. Okay? And then I started the journey of targeting or reaching out for sponsors. I thought that my idea was an amazing idea, brilliant. Everybody would say, "Oh my God!
All the brands you
where have you been? Where have you been?" And then, and by the time I had no connections, zero, because I used to live in Alexandria.
Which is okay, of course, not like Cairo, the hub of everything.
لا خالص, nothing. For me to reach a junior brand manager in any company, it used to take me مثلا a month and a half. And I go and I stay there مثلا 2 hours for them to meet me, and then squash, Guna, يعني it's not our target market. Nobody goes there except in vacations. And then I figured out that it's not the best idea. And I remember by the time when I used to train, go to مثلا for a Gezira club to train, my friends, I hear them talking about me that he's crazy. What is he doing? How come? And back in 2010, the events industry or the private sector doing events was new. For example, you do a party, but
okay.
not a big scale event. It was used to be managed by the country or by the government or by the ministers, but not a private sector.
Which is even more difficult.
And there was no like a communication channel between the private sector and the ministry, for example. And nowadays, it's totally different. Completely. They have a department, and by the time they're dealing with you like you're not Egyptian. You cannot do this. I'm telling you. I used to go to the Ministry of Tourism or the Ministry of Youth and Sports. There was no language or a proper communication. It was new.
It's like
all this was new. All this was new.
Yeah.
Because they're used to, if there is like if you remember Barada, the pyramids.
Yes.
It was the country is doing
it's
a government event. For you to go to the federation and tell them I'm applying with my company, there was no such a rule for this events أصلا.
Crazy.
It took me 6-7 months. I'm telling you the start. It took me 6-7 months approaching every single company in Egypt, try to convince them to sponsor the tournament. And nobody's interested. Okay, and I remember I registered the tournament October 16, 2010 till July 10th, zero sponsors. The Professional Squash Association started putting pressure on me. The players started booking their flights. خلاص بقى. And a lot of pressure from my friends, my family. Please quit. This is enough. You tried. And I reached the point where, you know what? I think it's not going.
The break, خلاص.
Because I've been working for 1 year and 7 months.
What will make it work now that we are like
nothing? Yes, and nobody's interested. I went back home, decided that I will, and I keep by the time for me to go to the MD that he trusted me in Orascom and tell him, I'm sorry, I quit, was not easy. And in front of the Professional Squash Association, in front of my friends, I didn't take it lightly. And I was very, very...
Did it feel like fear of failure or it felt like responsibility?
Responsibility. And I was very passionate about it. Like I've seen it happening, and I visualized every single, who's attending, how it looks like, everything. And by the way, the first year they decided I had the idea of putting the glass court in the marina. They said, no, you'll do it in the parking. in the parking lot. Okay.
يعني breakage of all the dream and visualization you have seen.
And then I went back home. I used to rent an apartment in Cairo to go and train وكده. The second day I'll wake up in the morning and send the email to the PSA and go to Orascom, to Abdullah, and tell him, I'm sorry, I will not be able to make it, and this is your money that you paid me. I was watching Amr Adib's program on القاهرة اليوم before I sleep. And this episode he was talking about Muhammad al-Faid, and he was talking about the ambitious.
Oh my God.
I swear to you. And the energy I took from him, I was jumping from my chair, because he was saying that why the Egyptian young people, they don't have ambitious? Why they want to take it easy? Why they just want to work in a company and take a salary? Why we never see another Muhammad al-Faid? Of course it's not easy. And I kept reflecting what he said, and I'm like, he's right. It's not going to be easy. If you want to fulfill your dream, keep pushing.
Yeah, and also like you are changing, creating laws.
You're changing the industry.
Ecosystem, completely.
I decided, you know what? I'll wake up in the morning and do what I did for the past 8 months again.
That was how many months before the tournament?
3 months.
3 months.
3 months.
Wow.
Okay.
So to believe for 6-7 months it didn't work, and now only 3 months left, that's a lot of pressure.
It was a year and 7 months.
Yeah.
But the sponsorship part was only 7 months.
7 months.
So I reached every single sponsor that I've been sitting with again. And I tried to take new meetings. And then I remember the Arab African International Bank sent me an email out of nowhere, and I don't know why they sent it, saying we are in for a platinum sponsor. Okay. This, which is covering like 30% from the cost.
But at least
it gave me hope.
Of course.
And I remember I tried to reach Naguib Sawir's office, and his assistant replied to me, and she said, okay, I'll connect you to Mobinil. And she sent them an email on his behalf. I didn't meet him. Telling them, can you meet this guy? He has an interesting story. And then Mobinil sponsored the event with a very little amount of money, but
something.
And then another one, and 3 weeks before the tournament, I realized that I will lose, because I only raised 50-60% from the cost. That I will lose the money that I gained from my squash career.
Wow.
So I had to decide. All this, while I'm working all this, I'm learning how to do a tournament. أصلاً. All my squash players decided to help me, so they were all like volunteering. Yes, no, they were like volunteering, helping me to pull it off, because I had no money to hire anybody. No, I had to use my friends. Actually, I used my friends to help me pulling it off in terms of organization, relationship with the players, with the managing sponsors, building the core. كل ده. I had zero experience. I know the game itself, and I've attended so many tournaments, but to know how it worked from the back end, it was not easy. So 3 weeks before the tournament, I decided, you know what, I'll pay the rest of the amount, and the only thing that I need to do is to pull it off.
Sponsor yourself. Wow.
Pull it off. I need to pull it off. There is amount of challenges and problems, but
I can think of, and the family and the responsibility.
The organization
you have for the
itself.
As well,
I'm telling you only one side, which is the toughest one. Raising the sponsorship, but there was a lot of challenges in terms of organization, the ticketing, the wind conditions.
And you had zero, not just business, because there is knowledge in business and also knowledge in the events industry.
Yes.
That's something on its own.
Both. I had zero. At the same time, managing stress and managing how you're going to deal with the troubleshooting. I'm learning it live. Because I remember the first match, so the players, they all came, خلاص, we're starting the tournament, and the first match, and there was humidity in the...
Oh my God.
I swear to you, there was humidity. The weather was very humid, so the court was slippery. And I remember the first day, there was an English player playing another French. After 4 or 5 points, one of them got injured, and they said, sorry, we cannot play. And I'm like, oh my God, why? Why is this happening?
What happening, yeah.
I left the court and I went back of the court. There was like a desert, like an area is not developed yet, and I was crying and I was like, God, why? I've done all my best. Why is this happening? So, and a lot of issues. Anyways, I pulled it off. How many people did it succeed? The success of this tournament that I was able to pull it off. It did not succeed. Yes, it was aired on the Nile Sport in Egypt, but nobody's interested, no media, nothing. So after the tournament, for sure, yani, my mind is like, this is not happening again. Yani, no way Orascom will say, okay, let's do it. No. For me, I lost all my money. خلاص. By the time the real estate market was starting to boom in Egypt, and a friend of mine advised me to, because I live in Alexandria and I know the community, to start a real estate brokerage firm. And the edge of it, that with my connection that I created, I can. This was new. What I'm telling you now everybody's doing it. But by the time that I go to every developer in Cairo and sign with them, that I'll be their office or like their representation in Alexandria.
And then of course you have a connection with good people, so you know you will put it off this way.
Yes, exactly. So I started. I created a company. And I started reaching.
Oh, خلاص, you got the entrepreneurship bug.
Oh, exactly. Okay. Well, I decided, you know what, this is enough for squash career. This was my last. And by the way, I gave myself the wild card in the tournament, which is like start from the main draw. This is why? Because if you start from the main draw, you take $1,000. So I said, okay, it will help me anything. This was my last ever international match. And I started this brokerage company, and I started coaching in my club in Alexandria, the national team of Egypt who lives in Alexandria. And I opened my brokerage firm. Okay?
Again back, خلاص, I'm settling down.
خلاص. And listen what happened. So I sold to a guy from, a businessman from Alexandria, a house in Kونه. He called me because he saw the tournament on TV by coincidence. And he said, okay, I know them. And he called me to introduce him to one of the salespeople so he can buy in Kونه. Wow. Okay.
So now it's actually influencing decision making of. I mean, it's not just squash. It's not squash anymore. It has an impact on other levels.
Yes. So he saw it on TV. So I went to meet him and I said, I already opened a brokerage firm. I can sell it for you. Let's go to Kونه. I took him to Kونه, and then the day of signing the contract. And look how. And this is exactly because every time someone tell me, oh, you're very smart, I say, I'm not smart. It's just you do your work, and then things will happen.
Yeah, serendipities.
Okay, so I'm going to the office in Cairo, Orascom office, with the guy to sign his contract. Waiting for the finance, and I decided to go to the bathroom. On my way to the bathroom, I met the director of destination marketing of Orascom. Hi, I didn't meet her because she was very top management that I did not even meet her. Hi, Amr, how are you? Are we doing the tournament again? I said, you want to do the tournament again? She said, yes. Okay, what are you doing here? I said, I'm signing. Finish and let's meet. We met. I met Abdullah, the MD, right after, and the head of the managing director of the destination, they said we want to do the tournament again. I said okay, but I have no money to spend. Okay, we'll support you. I did it, and then it was in the right timing. Okay, it was Easter time. Kونه was busy.
Okay.
Samih Sawiris was there by coincidence.
Serendipities.
Going home with his bike, so he stopped. He said, "Oh, what's happening?" They said we are doing an international squash tournament. Who's doing it? There's this young guy who came. Okay, let me meet him. We met, and he was impressed. He told me, "How come there is this tournament and nobody told me about it, and I did not hear any problems." We got introduced, and I started doing this tournament year after year. After 5 years, the Professional Squash Association called me and said, "We want to make this tournament. You can see the potential of it. We want to make it a platinum event, which is like top 8 events in the world. But this, for you to commit to, you need to build courts there and add a women event with equal prize money." But we see it, so I worked on it, and we put it on the international map for the squash, Professional Squash Association, equal prize money, women and men. In 2015, because the tournament was big, I decided to make a song for Egypt.
Wow.
So I got Taiseli, the singer, and Bushra.
So now it is beyond the squash. It's beyond Kونه. It's a country event.
It's a unique event that everybody's following. Celebrities started to come. Both Sawiris attending, all the ministers. خلاص became the way I visualized it 5 years back.
Wow.
By the marina, everything. Naguib Sawiris was attending for the first time after 5 years. Bushra singing with Zaiseri. After the tournament, I found a phone call from Bushra saying, "Amr, what an event. Oh my God, why don't we create a film festival in Kونه?"
Wow. Completely different industry, know nothing about.
Nothing. But in between, from 2010 till 2015, I used to do the tournament every year, coach the national team of Egypt in Alexandria, heading my club, Alexandria Sporting Club, heading the whole team, and doing the real estate brokerage. So I used to hustle, staying 3 days in Alexandria, 3 days in Cairo. December 2015, I decided, before I received this call from Bushra, that, you know what, I'll follow my dream. What is my dream is to create an events company, that because I've been seeing the impact that this squash tournament did in the squash industry itself, inspiring young athletes, the tourism itself, people go. So I said, you know what, I'm passionate about this, and I can make it bigger. So I quit from the coaching. I left my company to my partner. And I said, you know what, I'll focus in this industry. And so when I received the call from Bushra, I said, I'm ready.
So I want to, I think what I really like about the story is how much you have managed to handle the entire situation with the pressure, the stress, building a team. I assume there are so many things that building a team, because it's never a one-man show. My question is, how you as a leader, who in a way not necessarily know whichever event you are handling, know the ins and outs of everything, what kind of leadership culture and what kind of team you typically look for when you are building that?
By the time I had zero experience in how to build a team, it was all genuine. Whoever from my friends wanted to help me. It was just good relationships that I've built throughout my career in squash that helped, that made those people want to support me. But I learned it that way. Now I know what I need in the team. You need honest people. You need people who really has passion to what they want, in their career. because sometimes if you're not sharing the same values with the team, it's a little bit challenging.
So the value first, sharing the values.
Sharing the values for sure. Their eagerness to learn, because in any interview nowadays I ask, are you coming here just to take some experience and go somewhere else or take connections, or wala you see this as your career, and you are believing in the company vision. It's with the experience I got now, I a little bit know how to hire.
And so far now, where you followed your passion, reached where you want to be, if you reflect on how you see success now compared to years back, how do you define, or what success is for you? What do you consider a success?
I'll tell you. First of all, in terms of what, career or personal life?
Both, because it's I think where we live now, it's both. At the end, it is success for Amr. So what is success for you?
And for me, the number one thing that really reflect positive is creating impact. Even like I've done so many events that I did not make money, but I've seen the impact it creates on so many levels, or inspiring other, like the Egypt Entrepreneur Awards, for example. When I started it, it was mind-changing for me. The way I imagined it became much better than the effect it did to a lot of entrepreneurs, and the way they were talking because I've started this with the same direction. The first question you asked me is, I wanted to create a platform like an Oscars for entrepreneurs to shine and give them a platform with a lot of media exposure, so they can, for example, take this opportunity. Like it's the same like what's happening here, but with an award ceremony.
Yeah.
So with the media, when they started to know I've seen I imagine the entrepreneur is a real celebrity in his career, but people don't know him. And a lot of, especially in our Egyptian culture, they think that if whoever reached a success, he knows someone, or he's
they
he's
don't
lucky.
see the
He's
real
lucky.
world. They see the trophy only, and they think it's easy, happened easily.
Yes. So I wanted to create, to give them a platform to share their stories, to inspire other generations. This for me is part of being successful, is to create a real impact.
And you worked with so many entrepreneurs. You also for Shark Tank Egypt.
Shark Tank gives me the same, even more, because Shark Tank is the influence of Shark Tank became outstanding.
Taking the impact to another level.
Yes, because it's.
You think it influenced how people see entrepreneurship?
100%. Because when we're starting it, we couldn't imagine it will create this impact in such a short notice. But everybody is following it, and everybody is saying now this is hope. Even me, while we're watching the pitches in live, you see people coming from government, cities that they have no resources, and they are doing amazing products, and you see the influence, and a lot of them, they saw مثلا season 1 and they got inspired to apply in season 2.
It's creating taking the impact to a next level. That's amazing. So if I ask you just to wrap it up, what do you think entrepreneurs, so either what do you think entrepreneurs miss at the beginning of their journey, or if there is a life advice that you wish you knew years ago that now you know and you wish you have told yourself?
I love that question. So I think what I really missed, and I'm advising everyone, I've read it in so many books, but it's real. It's to find a mentor. If you find a good mentor in your start of your career, it will. Anyways, you have to take you will take the way anyways, because you need to take it so you can have the experience to pass level 2 and level 3. But sometimes when you have a mentor, it's not like a shortcut, but it will shorten the time. Because I had no mentor, I lost a lot of money. It took me long time to realize a lot of things that if somebody told me earlier,
I could reach point B faster.
Yes, for sure. But this thing that I advise every entrepreneur to, even if he doesn't have the connection, for sure, through if he looks in his family, you'll find someone has a little bit more experience.
Yeah.
That can guide him till he reach مثلا level 1. Well, the second thing that I miss, because I did not work in a corporate before I start this. If I worked in a corporate 2-3 years, it would have made my life easier when I started making my company, because I learned it also the hard way.
Okay.
The structure and how to the importance of a good finance director, and importance of a good legal, importance of not doing just a structure to start the proper job descriptions, proper.
Interesting. No, and you mentioned books. So do you have some books that transformed you in any way that you gift, or you think a person who wants to venture out really in anything in life would be good to?
The book read? That really affected me, and when I was passing through very, very hard times. It's called Success Habits by Napoleon Hill.
It's a classic.
Napoleon Hill, he was a editor-in-chief, I think, in an advertising agency, and he was doing this interview with one of the top business people in America by the time, and he commissioned him to write philosophy for success. And he told him that it will take him 20 years. He told him, I will give you an access to the most credible, successful business people in the United States, to 100 of the most successful. But I want you to sit down with everyone, write everything, all his career, and make it in a book after 20 years. So by the time I was passing through, I was being, I victimized myself in a situation, and I was taking, when you're doing all your work and then you get,
things don't work your way. Okay.
This book, it made me realize that you don't need to victimize yourself. Nobody cares about if you're a victim or.
This will not change the facts.
Exactly. This book, I advise everyone to read it.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
If anyone wants to know more about you, connect with you, what is the best place to go?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn?
Yes.
Great.
Mansi. AMRMANSI.
Great. Thank you, Amr.
Thank you very much.
Welcome here again, and looking forward to your talk today.
Thank you.
Thank you.